Hello, and welcome. Silrace here with Star Citizen, and this is an impression video of Origin 300i ship. So I've done videos of my ships before, a few of them at least. But that was before Arena Commander, before racing, before all these things. Back in the day when I couldn't show you any of the gameplay itself with those ships. So now those are in, so I can do some impressions and talk about the ships and then actually show some gameplay too, which is nice and nifty. So, Origin 300i, I want to start with this ship, the whole series, because it is going to be a rather common ship. It is kind of a fighter ship, but it has a little bit of cargo capacity at least with it. And also, it is, well, it is in one of the starter packages which people can buy as well, so you'll probably see quite a number of these things. But yeah, this is not a review by the way, because we are so far away from the release of the game still that speeds or other statistics and everything else might still change by the time we get to the release. So this is an impression video. Origin 300i though, let's talk about the ship, shall we? As you can see, it is pretty sleek looking ship, very aerodynamic, and with the wheels it can go up the runways, can go off the runways. That should allow it to do landings on planets and actually leave the atmosphere, get out to the space as well, which to me is also, well, this double wing setup, the Rainforest double wing setup, seems to also assume that, because, well, when you leave the atmosphere to go to the space, it's kinda harsh on the hull of the ship. So you want to reinforce quite a number of things to make sure that nothing falls off when you get out of the, atmosphere into the space itself. There's one big engine, which is awesome to see, one massive engine, and weapon mountings happen to be at the ends of the wings, which is kind of strange. It's like they could be underneath the wings or at the very front underneath the cockpit, but I guess they will have to do with being at the ends of the wings. There are some very awesome danger signs. Don't put your fingers there. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Intake markings. All sorts of other nifty little things here which, well, shows very good attention to detail, It's like hydraulic access. Oh yeah. Please, let me open that panel and see what's inside, alright? Because that would be fantastic. And this looks very realistic. I love that. Also, I love this animation of the dude underneath, like crouching when he goes underneath this stuff. It is very, very awesome. So let's go inside the ship and talk about the inside. It's a couple of nice things. Wait, open the door. Thank you. Firstly, let's make room for the ladder. Let's actually take a look at this ladder climbing animation because it's also pretty nice. Pretty nicely done. I enjoy this sort of extra bit of detail. It's like that animation to go in is very, very nice and nifty. Thank you for that. And then we get another look at the ship, and let's open the other door. Take a look at this locking mechanism here as I open the door. That is very, very cool. Really like that they actually have the locking mechanism spin and then open up. This is very, very nice. Really, really enjoy that. So inside, as you can see, there is not a whole lot of space, like just enough cargo space that you can basically take some basic appliances with you if you want to change location from one place to other. You can bring your cupboard and, your sleeping cot and go and take them elsewhere to another space station, wherever you happen to be living the next time around. Or you can play various futuristic RPGs here, pen and paper with your friends. Floor isn't, well, it's an incline, so doing any miniature playing here might be a little bit difficult. Anyways, this is a piece of thing here which I absolutely love. It's like, seriously? Fire hydrant? If you have watched any of my previous videos, I've seriously complained about lack of, well, fire extinguishers on a ship like this. It needs a manual fire extinguisher. If you happen to collide with an asteroid or happen to have any sort of electrical malfunction, there might be a fire inside here. Granted, you could have automated fire extinguishing systems, but if those are damaged, they are obviously not doing anything. That's why you want and need a manual one. The fact that they actually added one into the ship, that is so awesome. Thank you very, very much for that. Absolutely love that detail. Fantastic. Other bits of details? Very nice. Danger, high voltage, electrical box. See? I love that as well, because I also complained about fuses. I have no idea where they would put fuses on the ship like this. I would assume that they are in a panel at the front, but they actually now run the electrical boxes here, and there is a flammable coolant stuff, so that is fantastic. Flammable coolant, you know what I mean, right? Flammable coolant, right? Origin jump works written on the panels, and these, I suppose, do open. So yeah, there's a use button which does nothing but take me outside of the ship, right? Because like I would assume those bits there which I was looking at are some sort of like small storage spaces. It's like you got for tools and other materials like down here, all that stuff. But let's take a seat, shall we? And see what happens. Firstly, the seating animation, if I can get the camera into a position which allows me to see them. There is one issue with it I have at the moment though, which is the fact that once this guy has taken a seat and starts the ship up, it will kick me into a menu to go and play games, right? So you can't essentially just take a seat without it kicking you into this menu, so let's exit that menu and take a look at around the cockpit itself, because that will be kinda nice and nifty. So you can see the cockpit is pretty damn open. You can see very well around you, which I absolutely love. Like, this is the kind of cockpit I would personally love if I was piloting a ship like this. Because, wait, I can see all around. Fantastic. Right, lots of different meters and things to keep track of absolutely everything. Really, really cool. Really nice. Love the control mechanisms as well, with the thumb triggers, all that stuff, all that good jazz. And well, shields, communications, life support, all that stuff. Fuel, radar, heat. The nice thing is that there is a different set of those indicators on each side. If you see, that is very, very nice and nifty. It's like almost like, you know, has something to do with things. And let's leave the seat for the moment, walk back out and have another quick look around the ship, and then I will do some gameplay here. It's like, seriously, look at this ship. Like, you can have guys sitting on there piloting, and you can still have someone like standing behind here and still be able to look at all the marvels in the space. That was so fantastic. I can't wait to be able to bring someone with me on my ship so they can, you know, come down out of here with me. Let's jump down, because that's what normal people do. Right, so with the doors open, the ship looks a little ridiculous, but hey, it's not supposed to be flown with doors open. And the ladders coming from underneath the doorways is very, very nice. In general, I quite like the streamlined look of this ship, and it looks modern slash futuristic enough to really look like a space vessel capable of doing both in atmospheric as well as space flight and landing on planets, and possibly even leaving said planets after it has landed, depending if you crash or not. So let's move on to how this game thing flies for the moment. So here we are in the free flight mode with no enemies, so I can just talk about the ship a little, fly around a little and show you what the heck is going on with it. So Origin 300i has 220 meters per second top speed limit as of this time. However, it does reach that top speed limit rather quickly, which is pretty nifty, and as you can see it is also pretty maneuverable ship. Of course it doesn't beat something like M50 Interceptor in straight up pure speed, it just doesn't do that. But it is fairly maneuverable, turns pretty well and all that stuff. So that is very nice indeed. And if we pull this thing to a stop here, you can see that it doesn't obstruct your vision on the space around you like much at all. The cockpit is really open, and that is very nice. If we go into the free look mode, you can see how little this cockpit actually prevents you from seeing. You can see all the damn place around you. That is very awesome. You can simply take a look around to find enemies, friendlies, see where you want to go next, all that stuff. It's very good for exploration. One other thing though, which I suppose is a bug at this moment, but I was not able to bind these lasers, because you have two lasers, into separate weapon groups. For some reason it does not want to do that with the second number 2 laser. So it always binds both in the same, or then it just binds the one laser, the left side laser, so I couldn't buy them into two different weapon groups. I'm supposing that is a bug which is going to be, you know, fixed at some point or another. Just something to take note of for the time being. So let's spin around a little. Actually, let's take a look around the ship itself, huh? Because that should be quite fun, don't you think? So, not zoom in and out, what the heck am I doing? But drop us into the free look mode and then decide to like look around. We can see that the ship is actually pretty niftily done. It looks pretty damn good, don't you think? This looks really nice. At least I like, and that emergency light down there, or not an emergency light, but a warning light at the very bottom as well, is very nice. I really like the sleek look of the ship. And then we get a look from inside the ship as well. Imagine being a passenger here. This should be very nice. Just to, you know, stand behind the guy who's doing the piloting, look out the window. It would be very nice for a pleasurable little ride, don't you think? Anyways, now we are taking a look at this around in this particular bit. Let's go do a little bit of a race with this thing and see how this functions when you are actually trying to do some maneuvering. Okay, some basic racing with the Origin 300i. Haven't flown these races all too much, so I'm not an expert at them. I don't do crazy amount of lap speeds and whatnot for the funsies of it. That's just not... Well, I have never been a big racing fan anyways. However, how does this thing now handle? Because this is a good test for the handling of the Origin 300i. Firstly, I really love this map itself in the sense that it looks awesome. This whole city in the clouds business, fly through and do some racing in there. Seems very dangerous for anyone who happens to be living here, but that's not my issue. I'm just here to fly some spaceships. So Origin 300i, as you can see, is pretty maneuverable. It maneuvers fairly well, and this kind of racing with this pretty simple course I'm doing here, as you can see, I am basically going through with it at full throttle the whole time around. It's like the throttle goes down obviously a little when I maneuver around a bit more, but for the most part it is just straight up full throttle through the entire race and the lap and all that stuff, which is kind of nice in its own right. You can do full speed and go through the race. You don't have to, you know, vary the speed and bank at different angles and all that stuff to try and make your, well, ship work into tighter corners and turns and all that stuff. The Origin 300i does not require that, and this current time at least for these basic courses. If you know any basics of racing in video games, or well, if you are a professional spaceship racer already, then this is going to be an easy ship for you to get used to the races and get used to maneuvering and all that stuff. In the end, I really like Origin 300i, mostly for the aesthetics. It looks really good, it looks really solid, and it's going to be very good basic ship to fly around and do things with. I'm going to enjoy my time with this particular ship. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you folks another time with more Star Citizen content, and I'm gonna take a look at all the other ships I happen to have as well as some other things within the, you know, hangar and all that other stuff. As said, thank you very much for watching.